Greetings. Today, the moon is in Scorpio, continues in Scorpio from where it was much of the weekend, sort of went into Scorpio later in the day on Saturday. And we also have today the first quarter moon. So this is 1/4 of the way through the moon cycle. We have a choice point. Can sometimes be challenging, sometimes show up in our lives in terms of frustration or conflict. The first quarter and the third quarter moons are both what happens when the moon is in a 90-degree square to the sun. So again, the moon cycle is all about the relationship between the sun and the moon and how that unfolds and evolves over the course of a month, one moon cycle. And the sun has more to do with our minds. The moon has more to do with our hearts and our feelings and our needs. So the relationship, to really like sum it up in a very quick nutshell, it's the relationship between our hearts and minds and how that evolves over the course of a moon cycle and throughout the different moon cycles throughout the year. So that's why the moon cycles feel so meaningful and significant to us and our lives and our creative and manifestation process. I'm Marina Orms here with your Astro Vibe for Monday, August 12th. And with the moon in Scorpio, we have the intense energy of having to go below the surface, of needing to process and confront things that are at deeper levels. So there is a need to come to terms with a deeper truth, and that can be having to do with being honest with ourselves. It can also mean building trust. So building self-trust is what the opportunity is with the moon in Scorpio, right? It is asking us to transform ways of being that aren't really in our best interests and being honest with ourselves about that. And it's an opportunity that when we do that process, when we do look at ourselves and go through that experience of being honest with ourselves about what we need and what we need to release or really look at or be honest about, then we get the transformational rewards of the Scorpionic process. So it is about a metaphorical descent into the underworld and the myth of Persephone going into the world of Hades, right? So we in our own lives and our own healing process, sometimes we need to go into those deeper, darker places within ourselves, recognize what has been unconscious. It doesn't have to be like big bad scary thing. It can just be anything that we've been kind of able to slide by without really confronting, and we can manage to keep things a little bit more superficial. We don't have to deal with it. But ultimately, when we do deal with it and engage in our own deeper process of transformation, we get the rewards that come from that descent into the underworld. So we have to get uncomfortable, but the result that we get is that we get the beauty, we get the transformation, we get the new rebirth, we get the new ways of being. And so just the way a caterpillar goes into a cocoon and has to let go of its former self, right? It knew how things worked as a caterpillar and it has to say goodbye to that way of being. But in the process, it gets to become a butterfly. And so that's such a great metaphor, the story of metamorphosis. And we can think about that for ourselves. So, and one reason why this particular Scorpio new moon has a little bit more oomph, a little bit more power, is a couple of reasons. First of all, Pluto is in Aquarius. So when the moon enters Scorpio, it is forming a square with Pluto. So Pluto is the planet that in modern astrology rules Scorpio. It's a modern ruler of Scorpio. So because it wasn't Pluto wasn't known about by the ancient astrologers, but in modern times we have Pluto ruling Scorpio. We have the energy of Pluto, which is named after the god of the underworld. So Hades, Pluto, same idea. And then Scorpio, of course, is the sign, and that's going to be the area of transformation. Pluto is the planet of transformation. So when the moon enters Scorpio, it's activating that Plutonian energy, sort of amplifying and deepening and making more significant our need to confront a deeper truth and process some deeper feelings and cultivate that deeper sense of trust. So that's one reason. The other reason is that this Scorpio moon is the first quarter moon. And that, remember, coming back to the relationship between the heart and the mind, that is where in the unfolding process between the moon and the sun, or our heart and our mind, we have this choice point. And so now the universe is supporting us in making this choice. So it's going to say, hey, no, you can't do things the way you thought you could. They're not going to work the way you want them to work, because if we made it easy for you, you would learn nothing. So the point of that first quarter moon is to confront something that asks us to step into ultimately the invitation is to step into a more powerful way of being, a more true and honest way of being. And I'm not talking about radical honesty, I'm talking about empowerment. And so when you are stepping into ways of being that support you to be more whole, be more alive, more activated, more creative, more joyful, feeling more free. Sometimes there are some things we need to learn along the way to step into that more whole and free and joyful way of being. So the first quarter moon says, hey, where did this moon cycle begin? It began with the Leo new moon. So the work we are doing, the theme for this moon cycle, is the work of self-expression, creativity. How do you share your light with the world around you? So there's some kind of conflict or challenge or bump in the road or something that is not working, friction, frustration, something. It could be big or small, depending on how this first quarter moon activates your own personal chart, but it's creating this energy in the collective that is asking us to step into more empowered ways of being. And then we get the reward of being the butterfly, right? So what is that in doing this scorpionic work? It means, first of all, we had the square from the moon to Pluto. Now the square from the moon to the sun. You know, the moon is always forming aspects there are 9 other planets. And so it's not rare for the moon to form squares, but this Scorpionic moon has this particular potency of activation for us recognizing what we need at deeper levels and how to step into and consider new ways of being, particularly related to self-expression, being our true self, shining our light in the world, what it looks like and feels like to do that, and learning what we need to learn to do that more fully and more powerfully. So that's the essence and the vibe for today with this Scorpio first quarter moon and the evolving and unfolding of the Leo moon cycle. Thanks so much for being here. Yesterday, I went in depth on an important alignment coming up, and that will be on September 1st. Pluto is, like I said, at 0 degrees Aquarius, but it is retrograde. And that means Pluto is moving backward through the zodiac and will return to Capricorn. Remember good old Capricorn, where things are really serious and require a lot of sense of heaviness, limitation, and responsibility. So check out yesterday's video if you missed it for more on what it will mean, what it will look like, and how we can really work with it in very positive ways. To leverage, as we want to do with all of these energies, we want to make the most of it, and it's all an invitation to become our most powerful selves. So how can we do that with Pluto returning to Capricorn? Check out yesterday's video for Sunday, August 11th for more on that. And thank you so much for being here, for subscribing to this YouTube channel, and check back. I've got videos on astrology for unshakable self-care every day. So kind of, share with you what the vibe of each day is. Check it out. Thanks again. And I will see you next time. Astrologyheals.com is my website. All right. Bye for now.